Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Geek Homeworld. I'm your host, Ed Sisevich. So let's get this party started with a celebratory episode here. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, so here we go on the Geek Homeworld podcast. Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. And we are back. Welcome to this episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. And I'm your host, Ed. And joining me is a special guest. You can see him right here behind me if you're watching the video here on YouTube at Geek Homeworld and wherever else. I'm trying to point to him. Let's see, which hand is this? This hand. This one right there. Oops, point right there. There's the child, Baby Yoda. And if you can see right here, my child can levitate your child. So we got the child in the house there. So we're having fun. We're celebrating. Today is October 28th, 2020. I haven't put out an episode in about a month. Our last episode was our 6th year anniversary. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian, which I'm excited. Is coming up tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. It's coming out Friday, so that will be the 30th, October 30th. Get it right. Anyway, I'm excited. We are celebrating the fact, and I'll probably call this I Love You 71,000, okay? Why am I calling it that? Because the Geek Homeworld podcast, at least the audio portion, has received over 71,000 downloads. Yay. Let's see, I've got a sound effect here somewhere. Nope, maybe I don't. I can't find it. It's here somewhere. Anyway, maybe I can't do it while I'm recording. I don't know. Anyway, just pretend we're clapping, okay? There we go. Anyway, we've been going on for 6 years here at the podcast. And I'm happy to say, it doesn't sound like a lot of downloads, we are growing our YouTube presence, and we'll talk about all that in a second, where you can find us, the Geek Homeworld podcast. So let's transition some slides over here, and we're going to look at what we're talking about here on the wonderful Geek Homeworld podcast. And we're at geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. And if you want to know, you'll never find a more awesome hive of fans and geekery. So you want to know about the Geek Homeworld podcast. From action adventure to sci-fi to superheroes and more, we basically discuss Greek culture. Yeah, I'm sure we have some fans in Greece. We discuss geek culture, technology, TV, films, etc. We've talked about AI, we've talked about automation, stuff like that, a little bit on gear and gadgets, and so I'm expanding the podcast. You can see we're available on Facebook, so let's get that house cleaning out the way. Go to our Facebook page, Geek Homeworld. You can click the like and follow on there. It really helps us out, and you can interact with us there. I post a lot and do some repostings of not just these videos and these podcast episodes, but I also repost stuff related to geek stuff, and we'll look at some of those, maybe talk those as topics for this episode. We're also on Twitter, and that's at Geek Homeworld. We're on LinkedIn under my name, and we'll show that in a minute. You can email the podcast, geekhomeworld@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. That's at Geek Homeworld on Twitter. There's the RSS feed if you want to subscribe to it. You can listen on Deezer. I don't know anybody who's listening on Deezer, but it's a thing. You can listen to us, obviously, on Apple Podcasts. We've been with them when they were iTunes, and so we've been there a while. We're also on Spotify, and then there's our YouTube channel, and I'll show you all of those. And then you can listen on Radio Public. Now, we're also on, it doesn't show it here, but we're on Google Podcast app. So if you're like an Android user, such as I am, you can go on your Google Podcast app and subscribe to Geek Homeworld. And when our latest episodes come out, boom, it'll show up in your feed there. And I do enjoy that. There's a lot of really good things on there. So let's see. So our latest episode that we have this will be, if it all works out well, episode 147, our 6th year anniversary. That was September 24th, 2020. And there's a video version of that on YouTube. And as you can see right here, this is also the 12th year anniversary of myself, Ed, being a podcaster. I thank you always for subscribing, watching, and listening. And so there are different places that you can access us at. I want to show you here some statistics. A lot of people don't show this, but I do. And this is as of Wednesday, October 28th at 12:49 p.m. Eastern. It's about 3 o'clock when I'm recording this, but we are up to 70,013. That's 70,000, 70K. I love you, 70,000. So 70,013 downloads for the entire show. And we've gotten 308 off of our Geek Homeworld episode 146, the 6th year anniversary. There's a couple in here we did in August. I didn't do one in July. Did one in June, one in May, one in April, 3 or 4 in March. A lot of those were around the pandemic. I know we're going through here in America, as a recording of this, October 28th, 2020, we're about to hit the 3rd wave. So my thoughts, hopes, and prayers go out to you and your families and those who have lost. We've lost some members in my family due to COVID and other reasons. 2020 has been a tough year, but we're all going to make it through this somehow. And know that you have a friend here, someone that cares what happens to you, and you are important and you do matter. And just be strong. We can make it through this. Somebody asked me once what some of our most downloaded episodes are. Now, not all of our episodes appear on here because I think I don't know if we were always at Libsyn. I don't think we always were, but they switched over a way. They have the IAB, which is a more direct way of knowing your downloads and all that. So there's legacy downloads of about 39,219, and unique downloads are the ones I think that came afterwards. So and that was around 2017 when they changed that up. So I see downloads beginning November 1st, 2017. So we've had a decent amount of uploads there, and we're just really starting to hit our stride. I like to think here on the podcast we talk about a lot of different things, but released November 10th, 2017. According to this, episode 74, my Thor Ragnarok review, had over 1,000 downloads, and these don't account for downloads because we were on another server before Libsyn, I believe, or maybe not. I don't think we were. That was the other podcast. Okay. Digital Man Cave. And that's still available out there. You can still find it on iTunes. In fact, it still gets downloads. And I have another one called The Quotables that my wife and I used to do. We did about 8 episodes on that. It was a short run, but it was a very fun podcast, and you can find it out there too. But so some of these numbers are actually we have more possibly, but the way they change the analytics, and And it's not all about the numbers. It's about building community, and it's about having fun. This podcast is about having fun. It's about talking about things that I'm passionate about. I work as a sound mixer in the film industry, and I've done some other gigs and jobs and transitioning to different roles within the film industry. And I've previously had worked in the corporate world for almost 30 years. So that's some of my background, if you don't know. So if you're new to the podcast, if you're just jumping on board, what can we offer you? What can we expect? Well, I'm first and foremost a geek. You can probably tell if you look here. Let me switch back cameras here. If you're watching the video, you can see in the background I've got Baby Yoda there. I've got a bunch of Star Wars paraphernalia. There's some Star Trek there, a Star Trek Beyond. You can't see it, but there's that's WRUU. That's a cup from our fundraiser last year that we got. That's William Shakespeare. You can't see him there. There's some Star Wars. Can't really move around. I'm not going to move the camera around and mess everything up. Some old mics, and I'm working on the backdrop, but I like to change it around. You can't see that. Well, there it is, Independence Day right there. A little lithograph. That's one of my favorite all-time sci-fi movies. I'm a massive Terminator fan. Even the bad films, I like them. I'm a true fan, I guess you would call it. And I'll always love Star Trek. I'll always love Star Wars. I'll always love a lot of series. I love sci-fi. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian, which I'm excited about. That's some of the stuff that we talk about. So the Digital Man Cave podcast that I used to do, I did that for about 6 years, I think. 150 episodes of that. And then the actual day that ended, we started this podcast. We started the Geek Homeworld, but it was actually about a year because of personal reasons. I had a death in the family, so someone very close to me. So I don't think I actually podcasted for a year. I mean, I did a promo and a few things. So technically I did start podcasting, but it wasn't the full podcast so it's really like 5 years of solid episodes. But in some years were more, you could set your clock by it, and I'm trying to get back to that, but life gets in the way, and it's been a long, crazy, fun journey. And I hope you're along for the ride here, and I hope you're enjoying it. And so anyway, just giving you a peek behind the curtain, because people ask me, well, what are your downloads and, such and such. And it's not all, like I said, it's not all about the downloads. It's about building community. It's about being passionate about what you're talking about. And so I love geeking out. So that's what we're doing. And as we look back here, some of my second biggest episode here was another one from 2017. Looks like December 1st was when I released it. So coming up on 18, 19, 20, 3-year anniversary, the future of AI. That was episode 78. Episode 72, Blade Runner 2049 review. That was from October 22nd. Those both had collectively just under 1,000 downloads. And, it just goes down through there. We do a lot of previews, spoiler-free. When there's movies, it's been tough to podcast and find things to be excited about during the pandemic. And, that's why I did. If we look at, I'm going to go, well, first off, I'll go to the other spectrum. And these are ones, and some of these numbers are off. Like our second episode, way back in 2015 here, 9/13/2015. It's had 20 downloads. So, that one was called Hot Summer Fun. So, I like to do interesting titles. But I suggest we've got 146, not necessarily our podcast. I try to keep a lot of the earlier ones, especially are like 30 minutes-ish, they're digestible. This one's going to be another one that's going to go past 30 minutes. I already know it, But we talk about Oscars here. I have a friend of mine, Scott, who has been on several episodes. We have a blog, which I forgot to mention. It's geekhomeworld.blogspot.com. I don't really blog anymore, but sometimes Scott will blog for us, breaking down the Oscars and this and that. We have one here on the Golden Globes. We cover the awards season. We also, being in the film industry, I have another show that I do on a local radio station, 107.5 FM in Savannah, Georgia, which is also WRUU.org. They're in no way sponsoring this particular episode or involved in it in any way. I'm just mentioning it because it's a great radio station, very eclectic mix of excuse me, I hit the microphone there. A very eclectic mix of music and different stuff you wouldn't normally hear on the radio. So really good stuff, and all genres. And you can listen to them at WRUU.org on the internet. So if you're interested, and there's other ways. And but anyway, so I have a radio show called Savannah on Film. I also have a YouTube page. So if you want to go over there and subscribe to that YouTube page, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'd appreciate it. And any thumbs up on the Geek Homeworld YouTube page, which we're going to show you in a minute, or the Savannah on Film YouTube page. Any thumbs up that you get to the videos certainly helps the channel. Your subscription to the channel, subscribing to the YouTube channels will definitely help the algorithm. And so you'll see when you get new content, especially if you enable notifications. So that's a very important part of the whole process there. So, you can see we just have a lot of different episodes here. Let's see if I can get the titles. Okay. So where is released earliest? So it's okay. Here we go. We did the Geek Homeworld promo, which according to this, and this is the downloads have changed a little bit, but we only had about 22 listens. It's just our promo. It's just like a music promo. And then I have the extended theme. So that was September 8th, 2014. So basically September 8th, 2014 was the last day of, I think that was Alpha and Omega, episode 150 of the Digital Man Cave podcast. And then we started Geek Homeworld. And so I put out that promo. And I've always just, September 8th seemed to be the day because that's the date that I started whatever 6 years back from 2014 was 2008. Yeah. So that's when I started podcasting, and it's been a passion of mine. I'm a production sound mixer. I've also done some sound design and sound mixing, and I produce my radio show, Savannah on Film, do that weekly at 7 p.m. on WRUU.org. And also we do the videos on the video premieres right after that, 8 p.m. Eastern time here, Eastern Standard Time or whatever it is on the East Coast of the U.S. here. So anyway, I'll usually have my guest on, and that's fun. You're welcome to come over. That's Savannah on Film on YouTube right after the Savannah on Film show debuts over there. Okay, I promise I'm not running around. This is just not me plugging everything, but I just want to give you a behind the scenes since I love you 70,000. And of course, that's a play on the line. I love you 3,000 from Avengers Endgame. And so there's a lot going on here. Our first episode was of the Geek Homeworld episode. The first official episode was September 6th of 2015, and it's gotten about 233 downloads, but it's still getting some downloads this month. But some of the older ones I don't promote them as much, and on Twitter I'll promote them, and I'm also at Savage Tech Man. That's Savage Tech Man on Twitter. So you'll see me repost a lot of Geek Homeworld at Geek Homeworld. Geek Homeworld's Twitter. Post about different episodes there. So we'll talk about stuff there possibly. And anyway, so there's just a lot of ones. I know these stats aren't right because this one here, episode 13 from November 30th, 2015, El Capitan Frankenstein. It was actually one of our biggest episodes, and it only shows 113 downloads, but I know we've had a lot of episodes, but our first episode was called The Podcast Awakens. Obviously, we were leading up to The Force Awakens. And if you could see my studio here, which I've got to clean up, it's a bit of a mess. It's not a mess. It's just not finished yet. Not the way I want to reveal it and maybe do an episode one day when I've got everything kind of together, you know. And so, anyway, but I have some pictures on the wall here, the original trilogy, of course, and then episode 7. I'm missing a few of the plaques and the prequels. I don't have them. And those are those like wooden kind of movie posters, at least for the original trilogy it is, as I'm looking at them. And the other one is just like Kylo Ren and some stormtroopers or whatever. Anyway, so I'm rambling. But anyway, so check out our extensive catalog of episodes. And let's see, boom, 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 where are we? Let's go to total, boom, boom, boom. No, we're going to total. We're going to, where are we at? Let's go back to the released here. When it was released, okay, released the other way. Okay, so there we go. This one, episode 145, it's one of my featured videos on the Geek Homeworld YouTube channel, and it's called Rest in Power, and that's where I had a fellow geek, a friend of mine who's been on Sven on Film, but he was also on, he's been on a couple episodes of my radio show / podcast, because that's also wherever you get your podcast, Savannah on Film. I put it in podcast form as well. And it's also on YouTube. So, you know, on Savannah on Film on YouTube, you can see the video there. But I had Andre L. Johnson. He came on and we talked about the death of Chadwick Boseman. And so that was August 31st that we did that episode. We talk about a lot of things. We have an HBO Max episode. One of my funnest ones, episode 135 from January 23rd of 2020. The top films preview. It was episode 135, the top films preview of 2020. And it's kind of funny. It's only gotten 189 downloads. I can understand why, because I haven't really promoted it much. And the fact that not much has happened in cinema. Cinema's, yeah, everything, the whole world's turned upside down. So anyway, that's enough look at the statistics there. That'll bore you. So if you're going over to Facebook, you can see that we have, this is my Geek Homeworld. It's at Geek Homeworld on Facebook. And you can see right here, I've got a pin post. This is me, and you can see Baby Yoda in the background if you're watching the video. This is my gaming channel at Geek Homeworld Gaming. And this page is an offshoot. I'm reading here. It says, this page is an offshoot of the Geek Homeworld podcast. This page will be devoted to video games, from soon playing games to sharing information about games. This is a work in progress, so it definitely is. And there's geekhomeworld.libsyn.com, which links you back to the podcast that you're listening to or watching now. And I posted this about 6 hours ago. Geek Homeworld has hit a big milestone, 70,000 downloads. This accounts for all countries globally, and only the podcast portion, and only the audio portion of the podcast. Different metrics for the video. I haven't been doing videos long. You'll see the numbers aren't as good there, but I'm growing with your help and you getting people energized and excited about the Geek Home World. My YouTube channel, then, you know, we'll get more subs on there and be able to do more things. I may do some live stuff there, but I definitely do on the Geek Homeworld Gaming. I'm doing the Facebook gaming and then cross-posting those games, those videos of the live stream. I'm doing them live on Facebook through OBS. You know, I stream them that way from Steam. And then you can interact with them on Geek Homeworld Gaming. So Geek Homeworld Gaming, that's the link to it. That's what it looks like. Got the little logo and just gaming on there. I'm not great with graphics, so that's just not my thing right now. But anyway, I'm proud of this was when I posted this 6 hours ago. It was 70,007 downloads. Now it's 70,013 as of the recording of this, October 28th, 2020. So anyway, here's some things like StarWars.com. They did this. It says, vote, make your voice heard, you know. So anyway, there's a lot of cool things in here, and we talk about on the website here. And we like to say, you'll never find a more awesome hive of fans and geekery. Join our community as we explore sci-fi, superheroes, and action-adventure from a geek perspective. Join us as we talk about geek-themed film, TV, science, and more. And Geek Homeworld was founded on September 9th, 2014. So it's around the 8th or 9th, okay? Anyway, so go ahead and like the page. We need more people to like that Facebook page, okay? And you can always find good content there. Now, I'll talk about Geek Homeworld Gaming. Well, here it is. Geek Homeworld Gaming on Facebook. And you can see I cross-post a lot of things. So there's my Geek Homeworld, 70,000 downloads. This is just a little Star Wars thing here. I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if I'm allowed to play that. So anyway, but that's from Gameology, the best of gaming. I just posted that. I really like that video there. It's for a Star Wars game. And anyway, so a lot of things going on there. That's Geek Homeworld Gaming. So I'd appreciate if you went over there and you let's view this as a visitor. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so you're a visitor. You're now visiting, so you can hit this like button there, and or something like that. So I'll exit view as. Okay. Anyway, moving right along. So we go to our Geek Homeworld page. I got to work on this logo up top. I know I haven't got it there. Okay, I'm showing you my channel analytics, and shout out to TubeBuddy. This is the free version, and you have right up here this little TubeBuddy icon, which is pretty spectacular. If you click it, it gives you a lot of stuff like search engine optimization. And let me tell you, nothing in this video is sponsored by anybody. I'm not trying to promote anything or any service or whatever. I'm just telling you what my workflow is here on the podcast. So I really like this, and it shows you have tools, you have industry news, and the latest thing I have 20 subscribers to my Geek Homeworld YouTube channel. So I would love an influx of people there. I've got almost 800 views, 25 more to go till I might reach 800. I need to upload 21 more times. Hopefully this will be one of them. And then I'll hit 200 uploads. I've got 25 subscribers, 2 more to go to 25. So I must have 23 subscribers now. So it's cool. It gives you these little certificates, which they're very cool, and you can share them on Facebook or Twitter. And I just think they're really cool. I may end up, even with the free version of this, you can download the certificate. You can also share it on LinkedIn. But like October 18th, we hit Geek Homeworld, it's got my logo and everything. It's kind of cool. We hit 20 subscribers, so I'm proud of that. I know it's not much, but I am, like I said, I'm growing the channel. But anyway, those are our stats, and this is episode 145. I've got that, celebrating the life of Chadwick Boseman, and that's Andre L. Johnson right there. So shout out to Andre. He's such a great guy, fantastic photographer, filmmaker, actor. He does it all. Extremely talented, deep individual. Right here, you'll see some of my uploads here. I've been doing some Left 4 Dead gaming. Looks like about an hour and 35 minutes on that one, an hour and 37 on that. And you'll see these episodes that just have the logo. Those are just straight up audio. I know that's probably, some people call it cheating, the algorithm. I wasn't trying to figure out an algorithm. I just send those to the Geek Homeworld channel because I wanted to have the YouTube channel. And I should have jumped in the video a long time ago. I just didn't quite have the setup that I was comfortable with. And I'm still working on this. So this is all a work in progress. So I hope all my listeners, all the people that watch this, please be nice in the comments wherever you're commenting, and understand that I'm growing and learning every day and trying to perfect this. I did a trailer reaction to No Time to Die about a month ago. It's got a few views on it, about 26, but I was just figuring out that with OBS and how to do that, and then it got pushed back, of course, till next April, so it'll be a whole year till we see No Time to Die, and a little upset about that, but you know, what can you do? But anyway, you could go to videos here from the main page, and it may look different to you if you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you get a video or whatever, but anyway, but we have the videos, the uploads there, and you'll see there's a lot of them. There's me and Baby Yoda on episode 141. I was trying a green screen thing and it didn't work so well. This is something I tried about a year ago. God, has it been that long? It's crazy. Top 10 in 10 minutes when there was box office. I was kind of trying that out. I may bring that back. And you can see episode 120 a year ago. I only had about 4 views on it, but that was me venturing into video versions of the podcast. So this is the Skywalker Saga. So I recorded it as a video, and this is the audio version. It's only had like 2 views, so they're about the same. And anyway, so that's pretty cool. Here's a Terminator Dark Fate. I told you I'm a big Terminator fan too. So back about a year ago, it's been a year because it showed up on my Facebook feed. But Terminator Dark Fate was episode 119 of the Geek Homeworld podcast. So that's pretty cool. We have a lot of things like here. Here's some gameplay scattered throughout. Star Trek Fleet Command. About a year ago, I was playing that. SimCity Build It. I've been playing that since 2016. I need to get Fishdom on here. Maybe put some of that on the Geek Homeworld gaming channel. I may do that. I may cross-post it to here because that's kind of like my new portable game addiction. And I've been playing the heck out of that. But you can see all these episodes. I don't think all of them are up here, but I uploaded them in a weird kind of order. I don't know. And here's where back 2 years ago was episode 100. So in 2 years, I've done 40. This will be 47 episodes. So it's been a busy 2 years, career changes and stuff like that, and working in film. Episode 91 right here is a video episode. This is the audio version. And this is 10 Years to Infinity. Basically, that was around the time Infinity War came out, and or leading up to it. And so I was recapping all the Marvel films. Star Trek missions, timelines. I was playing that about 2 years ago. Now here's an experimental one I did 2 years ago. It's only about 7 minutes. It's called Geek Homeworld episode 81. It's the video companion presentation to the episode 81, which is Transhuman Evolution. And so that's kind of a real geeky kind of concept. So we get into some of those deep thinking stuff, and I did an AI episode, and between those, and we talked about that string theory, quantum mechanics, and all that. I tried to teach myself that, like you can teach yourself that, right? So one of my other passions is Command and Conquer, and here's actually just some gameplay I did early on. It's a couple of years ago, but and there's a welcome to the channel. You can see how archaic it is if you're watching the video. But I did a couple gameplays on that. I'm going to hopefully do some more when they remaster. Hopefully Command and Conquer remastered, maybe the second version will come out and they'll have generals, because I love generals, and General 0 Hour is probably hands down my favorite of the Command and Conquer series. I'm so disappointed that Generals 2 didn't happen, but I'm glad they did what they did. So anyway, but more importantly, so if that looks like a jungle mess and you're like, well, that's just a lot of stuff. If you see the Geek Homeworld logo, you'll notice less of my videos will have that. Those will be the audio ones. And this one's a little promo here, a headliner one. You can use that through Libsyn. It's pretty cool. They're partnered with them. It just puts like those little audio with words, and it's got the little thing going up and down like audio meter. It's like a little promo. So, it previews your episode. But I did that for episode 145, Rest in Power. So you see that headliner promo, then the actual audio version of it, and then the video version. So you'll be seeing more and more video versions, and sometimes I'll still do some audio versions. It's a little bit harder to do the video, but it can be done. I don't do a lot of like processing the video, so it's just kind of upload what it is, and I'm not trying to be super whatever with it. As my head is itching. Why is my head itching? Anyway, sorry. So here, playlist might help you out. And I've got different things in here. There's the Geek Homeworld live stream. Actually, I don't think I actually did that live stream, but Geek Homeworld gaming live streams. There's 2 in there. So if you look at that, you'll see the 2 view full playlist. Those are the ones I did there on October 19th and October 22nd that I cross-posted. And these are some of my live stream videos from my Facebook gaming channel known as Geek Homeworld Gaming. You can give these videos a thumbs up here and like and follow my Geek Homeworld Gaming Facebook channel. Thank you. So anyway, we got that and a few other people I follow, different things. So we got some playlists. There's tons of channels. I shared this on an episode before, just some of them. Here's Savannah on Film. And I guess we'll go over to that channel really quick. I only have 74 subscribers. See, and this is kind of cool. Now, it compares the channel analytics on the free version of TubeBuddy, which is awesome. Thank you, TubeBuddy. And like I said, they're not sponsoring this video or anything. I just like them. You can see the gains that I had here in red. When it shows them, that's showing the lifetime and past 30 days. Just a couple videos that I uploaded, and I've already gotten 2 views today. You can do last 30 days, subscribers. I got about 5 there. I got 1 yesterday, none today so far. Videos in the last 30 days, I've uploaded 2 and also uploaded 2 in the blue. So the blue is, since I'm viewing this as Geek Homeworld, if I switched it around and viewed it as Savannah on Film, so it would be the other way. So anyway, so these are some of my shows. This is an encore episode. And then this is my latest one that I did about a week ago in this or so. So anyway, you'll see a bunch of these videos on here, and there's videos. There's on Savannah on Film, and I talk to people in the film industry, a lot of important people, and a lot of people up and coming. So got some playlists here, so there's just different things there, my Facebook lives that I've done, and different people that I follow. So anywho, that's where do we go back to? Okay, going back, switching back. One more. Okay, that's Geek Homeworld. Close enough. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So on Twitter, we're Geek Homeworld, at Geek Homeworld. So geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. I joined September 2014. That's actually a picture of me in a previous place that I lived, actually, before that. And we set up that picture. I still have that Yeti mic that you see right there. If you look behind me here, let me transition back. You can see literally behind me in the video, there's the Yeti mic, and there's the pop filter, and there's the Yeti mic. It's still a good mic to have. It's not the it's just a USB version, but I did a lot of podcasting with that mic, and I did some early game streaming with it, and some people still use it, but I've got a little bit better quality going here now, and better interface. But I'm certainly not going to knock anybody for having whatever setup they have. You make the best of what you've got, so that's what you do. One of my pinned tweets here on Geek Homeworld, and you can I'm following that because this is my Geek Homeworld, but I'm following Geek Homeworld Gaming, but you can go there and you can follow that. And I forgot what I was going to say, but anyway, this is Geek Homeworld Gaming. And anyway, so blah blah blah, like and subscribe. Anyway, so that's that. So what else are we going to talk about? Let's see. So let me just switch over. So there I am. Okay. I'm looking off here on my phone here. We've got The Mandalorian coming out, and season 2 is coming out. and I'm super excited. There was a rumor that Ewan McGregor showed up on the set of The Mandalorian and tried on his Obi-Wan costume. But the rumor was quick to say that no, you're not going to see him this season on The Mandalorian. Is more than likely where they're filming for Kenobi, which is going to be a Disney Plus show. And so thankfully we have The Mandalorian coming out. We've been waiting a long time. I know Friday's going to be fun. It's probably going to break the internet because there's not been much to see, and with Black Widow getting pushed back and all these films getting pushed back, and there's been no MCU movies to speak of, no Disney Plus series yet. Everything's been kind of pushed. I'm very excited, and I keep getting excited for WandaVision. I cannot wait. That's definitely high on my radar, and how it may play into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I love that title, and I'm going to be so interested to see how that shows up. There's rumors that Kevin Feige, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I always say his name wrong, so forgive me if I'm saying it incorrectly. But it's exciting. I read a rumor that he's been, and he's actually said this before, I believe, that he wants Hugh Jackman back. And Hugh Jackman said when he did Logan, and he said, after we did that film, Patrick and I, Sir Patrick Stewart, we realized that this is the best end for our characters. And so, I'm okay if he walks away from it, but there's a possibility maybe with Spider-Man 3 and maybe Doctor... I almost said Doctor Doom. You never know. But they may bring in alternate versions of Iron Man, possibly rumored. The man who tried to be Iron Man back in 2008, but the MCU wasn't a thing and it just didn't happen. Tom Cruise. That'll be interesting to see him as like an alternate reality version of Iron Man. So, yeah, he tried to do an Iron Man film, so that would be fascinating. It'd be weird to see, and not Robert Downey Jr. and because he is the epitome of that role, and Endgame couldn't have been a better swan song also for him. But Kevin Feige, sorry, you should hear my last name. It's unpronounceable. My apologies, but anyway, he said, and Hugh Jackman said before, that he would come back for X-Men versus the Avengers, basically. Well, there's a chance that Multiverse of Madness or WandaVision, with her reality warping powers and all that, which looks like to be a big part of this show, of WandaVision, which is going to be spectacular. I just know it. And I'm so excited for it. But there's a chance we can see that. We could see alternate versions of the superheroes. I heard a rumor that John Krasinski, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm terrible with names. You gotta forgive me. That he may, because he thought he was going to be Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Is it Mr. Fantastic? The Fantastic Four? The leader, or one of the leaders. And then Sue Storm is going to be like Emily Blunt or whatever. But now it sounds like they both possibly rumored could both come in as oh my gosh, I've forgotten now, thinking about Fantastic Four, because that's so exciting, such an interesting concept. If anybody in Marvel can hear me, the best time in comics for me was X-Men from the 90s, the cartoon series, the animated series. Loved it. Those are really what kind of cemented in my mind who the X-Men were. I've enjoyed the Fox run of things. It's been here and there. Hugh Jackman's, of course, Wolverine. It'd be hard to recast. And But that's life. It's a necessary thing, and we understand. But being a fan of a real geek of the X-Men films, I still like them even when they're like Dark Phoenix. I'm sorry, it was a good film. Parts of it I didn't like, but it's okay. I still like them trying to do it. I'm still will champion a film if I'm a true fan and I love it. And but there's a chance that John Krasinski could come in one of these Disney Plus shows or whatever, or the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness could show up in just cameos like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Maybe we'll see him against the Hulk. Wouldn't that be mind-blowing? Not just Professor Hulk, but maybe like a Raging Green Hulk or something. I don't know. Who knows what you guys got planned? There's so much you can pull from. But John Krasinski could show up as Captain America, which is interesting casting because I could see him doing it. I really could. I'm excited for the Disney Plus shows. I hate that the pandemic has pushed everything back. I hate that Black Widow didn't come out. There's so many films I wanted to see this year, like the rest of you. And we talk a lot about films here and television series, but a lot of films here on Geek Homeworld. And I just love to spend time and geek out about it and everything. So I really hope that all of it works out and, we get through this pandemic safely and we can find a way. Kind of tying it back into The Mandalorian, they have a special way that they filmed The Mandalorian, and kudos to everybody, behind the scenes that's making that happen. They basically have these LED screens, I guess you would say, or OLED screens or whatever, and they're on the floor, the ceiling, and it's kind of like this box kind of that's open on one side, and you basically have the camera shooting into it. But basically, they don't have they can just project it, like digitally project anything on there, and so it looks so amazing. And during the time of COVID and learning how to minimize the contact and social distancing and mask wearing and sanitizing and everything that's necessary to get the film industry up and going, and the television industry as well. This is how they film The Mandalorian is one of those ways. Another way is what Tyler Perry's done with his show Sistas. They did a whole season and they did it in quarantine in that bubble. It's kind of like the NBA did their season in a bubble, and it seemed to work pretty well. I mean, so far so good. I mean, and so we're learning. The industry is learning how to persevere and move forward. And if I can do a little tangent here, AMC has been rumored. We know that they could go under. I hope that they do not go under. I love the experience of going to a theater, and I've been to a couple shows and followed every safety protocol, and at least my local AMC, I can definitely say that they are doing the best that they can, and I feel as safe as I can feel in a theater. Of course, there's not been that many people at the shows, and we go at times purposely when there's maybe not a lot of people, just to minimize our exposure to other people. And of course, we're wearing masks and doing everything we're supposed to do. So that's just what you do, and that's how we get through this together. And we will get through this pandemic together. And I'm not going to get into a big global message here, but we have a lot of listeners. Shout out, by the way, to a lot of people who are listening via Ghana, which is a music service, but they also have podcasts. And it's like the number one service out of India. So I'm not trying to promote that. I'm just saying they're not sponsoring this. No one's sponsoring anything. Trust me, I don't have sponsors. And but I want to welcome all the listeners that I've been getting from India to the Geek Homeworld podcast. So thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying the content. Please let us know on Twitter, on Geek Homeworld YouTube, on any of our Facebook pages for Geek Homeworld or Geek Homeworld Gaming. Let us know. I really depend upon your feedback, the community support, and especially on YouTube, those thumbs up on the videos really help. Subscribing to the channel, enabling those notifications for new content is always, good, so you don't miss anything. And I'm looking at having guests here on the show. I've had guests on before, and I'm able to zoom them in. And I'm probably going to be doing that again. I hope to. Let's talk about big picture. Okay, we've made 70,000 or 71. What was it? I have to go back and see. Let's see. Let me pull that back up. What were our statistics? 70,000. So I'm going to reload that real quick. Okay, it hasn't changed. 70,000. So we'll just say 70,000 on there on the Geek Homeworld podcast. But so anyway, a lot of those we've really been focusing on that. Now, really the big picture. So 70,000 downloads. Where am I taking this podcast? Well, I want to take it to different levels. I would like to maybe have some guests on, or guest commentators, whatever you want to call them. Send them to Dragon Con, maybe Comic Con when they not virtual or whatever. Report back. I want to maybe get into some comics. Would be nice. There's a lot of things. I have a friend who's working on a project and he's setting up his Instagram. And I must admit, I'm learning Discord. Is that what it is? Oh my gosh. that would be a clip there if you want that to go to viral. Discord. That doesn't sound right. Discord. Maybe it is. I don't know. What do I know? But anyway, I'm learning that program. I know. I'm supposed to be expert of everything. Well, guess what? I'm not. Nobody's an expert in everything. But I do know audio, and I do know a lot of these services and gadgets, and I'm learning them, and I'm implementing all this into my workflow and trying to make it better, and I'm trying to make this more fun and exciting. So if you're listening to this and this sounds like me rambling on, hopefully it isn't. I hope that you're finding some value and getting some joy, some comfort out of anything I'm saying here. I do sincerely, I'm an optimistic person, so I do sincerely love TV and love film. I love the process of it, making it behind the scenes. I've been privileged to be on several productions, and it's a different thing when you see a film made and the way it ends up, and then it's sometimes it's different than what you think, but it's it's fun. I'm privileged to do some of the things that I've been able to do, and I have no regrets that way. The industry is tough, and 2020 is that year that's going to have the big asterisk by it. It's going to be like, if you made it through 2020 and kept your sanity, and I don't mean to make light of anyone's suffering, and trust me, I know it's not easy. It's tough. And I just want to speak for a second, because a lot of people don't talk about this, and I'm not afraid to get too personal, but there can be anxiety, and a lot of people in this country, in the U.S. at least, and the world, we're going through a lot. This has been a highly stressful year. We've lost a lot of people. 220-something thousand people have passed away from COVID and other things, beyond that. This year, 2020 has been tough. I don't know what a year in review would be like. We've talked about this might be the year we don't do a year in review. And honestly, if you listen to some of my earlier episodes, I have a list. It's actually over there. You can't see it. But we are going to do, and I'm going to probably have to do it myself, but my friend, he's had to move and he has a new gig, and I'm super excited for him. But maybe remotely or something, we can work on this. But we had come up with our, I think, top 10 films of the decade, literally going back to the beginning of the film industry. So like the 20s and 30s, like silent films, into, at least 2019. And this was like the end of 2019, early part of like 2020, and we were about to start recording, and we did, this is before the pandemic and broke here in the US. And so I've got the list. I may rework some things on the list, but we kind of put a pause on that, and then things changed and pandemic hit and the whole world changed. But I want you to know, anybody who's listening to this, anybody who might be watching this, if you're listening or watching sometime in the future, I guess you would be, because I'm doing this right now, so anything beyond right this moment would be the future, wouldn't it? Anyway, but know that 2020 was difficult. It was a very painstaking year. It also, I'm an optimist. I felt anxiety over it. I still have anxiety at this moment over COVID, over trying to stay healthy, protect the ones I love, family, friends, my community, doing my part to, flatten the curve and everything else that we've been trying to do here in the U.S. And my thoughts and prayers really do go out to everyone who has lost someone or has had someone who's ill and hopefully have recovered from COVID and other ailments. And it's just not easy. 2020 has been hard. If you're watching this in the future, which you will be, hopefully, just know that you're not alone. As they say, hashtag, I guess we're in this together, right? But it's true. It's more than the hashtag, and it's, let us know what your stories are. I'm not against putting together an episode where people, maybe I'll do a live episode. Maybe I'll do one on Facebook or Geek Homeworld, or even a live YouTube. Maybe I don't think I've earned enough to get the chat feature in there. Yeah, I have. I can do that. I don't know. I'll figure it out or something. I don't know. Or you can send me messages at Geek Homeworld on Twitter, or whatever, or email us at geekhomeworld@gmail.com, and you can let us know what you've been through. If you want to share it, you're welcome to, and maybe we can mention that on the episode. And I used to work in HR, so maybe that's the HR in me coming out to training. I did that for several years, and that was a rewarding experience. So I like helping people. I like mentoring people. I've tried to carry that over into the film industry, being a sound mixer. What is a sound mixer? A production sound mixer does all the sound for a film, essentially. The bigger the film, the more sound mixers you may have. Usually, the sound mixer is the head of the department. Then you have a boomer. They're holding the boom and that you see, and then they wire up people, mic up people, and they work in conjunction, of course, with the sound mixer, who has the mixer and everything, creating the sound and recording everything. And then you have utilities, or cable wranglers, as they've been called before, and they work in the sound department. So sound's been my life. So I grew up loving radio. I kind of stumbled into the radio show Savannah on Film, and made a proposal, and they said yes, and that's how Savannah on Film was born. And I'm excited about that, and it's been going strong for over 2 years. Since 2018 I've been doing that show every Saturday, We switched times. It was like 3 to 4 our time, then it became 7 to 8, but it's been 7 to 8 for a while. 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, or whatever the time is on the East Coast where I live, and here in the U.S. So anyway, I guess that means it looks like we're coming up on close to an hour, if not. So I guess we'll end the episode or come up to the end. Let's talk about what we're looking forward to. Obviously, The Mandalorian. I can't wait. We've talked about Phase 4 a little bit. I can't wait till Disney gets the engine going, and hopefully we get a vaccine. We get some way that theaters can open. I mean, there's some theaters have opened in New York State. That should maybe help. Not in New York City, because their numbers are still a little too high for comfort. I hope we support our theaters, that when it's safe, if you feel safe, you go out to the theaters. But please, everyone, stay happy, stay healthy through this pandemic. You're going to make it through. You're going to be fine. Things are always going to get better. They may get a little worse. The road may be dark, but I always believe that there's a light at the end, and life is that journey. It's a journey through good and bad, and these times, if you're a creative person, because I will also write poetry, so maybe that's the poet speaking a little bit, but I actually was going to put a book of poetry out. I'm still editing, and I went back kind of to re-edit stuff, so working on that. That's probably going to be a 2021 release, fingers crossed on that. So but now 2020 is a great time while we're in quarantine, isolation, self-isolation, whatever we call it, while we're social distancing, while we're staying home. Stay creative. Feed that creativity. I know if I don't create content, or I'm not, whether that's podcast or whether that's me writing some poetry or something, or doing something like that, then I feel like I'm wasting time. And it's kind of how a creative person's mind works. And so, artists are geeks also, right? You can be a geek about anything, really. It doesn't have to be technology based or sci-fi based. I mean, that's a lot of what we focus on here, but we talk about film, we talk about TV. There's a lot. Sometimes I'll telescope it down to niches of things, that we're going to talk about. But, I like to cast a wide net, as it were, and talk about these different things. But I realize that people need uplifting messages in these dark times, and there is light even in every bit of darkness. It's just harder to see, and I want anybody that can hear my voice, anybody that can watch this video, to have hope, to hang on to that hope. And no matter how an election goes, no matter what happens wherever you are with the pandemic or whatever, you're going to be okay. And your job is to stay happy and healthy, and work on your mental state. Make sure that you've got it all together, and it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay. It's natural to be sad, to be depressed, to have anxiety. Those are natural things that a human being would express. And 2020 has been a stressful year, but I'm so excited. The optimist in me is so excited for the breakthroughs I feel that are coming in 2021. And I think we've all learned worldwide, collectively, separately, whatever, but I feel like as a whole, we've all learned how to survive and how to maybe even thrive during one of the worst times in our history. But from those dark places sometimes can come the greatest of creations, and you've sown a lot of seeds this year, whether you realize it or not, and that harvest season is coming. It may not be the first part of 2021. It may not be the middle. It might be the end of 2021. But I got a feeling that it is coming. So stay positive, stay healthy as you can. I would love if you'd interact with all of our content here. Give us some subscribes on those YouTube channels, some thumbs up on those videos. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like, but be nice about it, because I'm a nice guy, so, please be nice. I love to debate, but in a respectful manner, about, what ifs. Like, Marvel has a what if. I think it's going to be a cartoon coming out, or animated series or whatever, I guess you would say. Like, what if Captain America was someone else, or whatever. So, yeah, I like that idea, that it's like that alternate reality thing. That's pretty cool. But here's something to the head of Marvel. Remember how I mentioned X-Men, the animated series? And if you could do a movie and somehow have that theme in it when the X-Men show up, or just hidden somewhere in a film somewhere as a little Easter egg, because you're great about Easter eggs. Fantastic, Marvel, about that. But just to have that theme would be awesome. Maybe that line of characters would be great. We'll see. But what I wanted to say, in addition to that, to having X-Men, is one of my favorite villains was Onslaught. And I thought when Fox did Apocalypse that they were leading up to Onslaught, So if you're not familiar with the comics, you should read it. And I don't know if I need to do a spoiler alert here or not, so I'll say spoiler alert. I'll give you a second. Spoiler alert. Okay? Basically, in the comics, Magneto and his acolytes, like Exodus, and actually Peter Rasputin, which is Ileana Rasputin, or Magic, her brother Colossus, he joined with Magneto and them, and I think they were on Asteroid M or something like that, if I remember correctly. And they put up some kind of barrier, the country did, so that mutants couldn't attack, because he relocated everybody there. It's kind of like the Genosha from the animated series, but Asteroid M in the comics. So this is where I told you I like talking about comics. For me, the golden age was really the 90s, and I guess I'm showing my age by saying that, but anyway, so the X-Men were asked to go up there and stop Magneto. He was going to let out an electromagnetic burst, or he did, and just, his powers were like really so upper level, mega level-ish mutant, whatever, way off the charts. Anyway, and so Xavier just finally gets tired of Magneto, because Magneto rips the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, which led to this feral Wolverine, which is an interesting way to look at Wolverine's character. And through that, we learn eventually that his claws were made of bone, which, later on we found out through the Fox, the origins of Wolverine, Wolverine Origins, which wasn't a terrible movie. I still liked it. But the story of him and Sabretooth being brothers and all that stuff. But anyway, so I don't want to digress. But anyway, so Magneto rips the adamantium out of his body, basically almost killing him. And so Wolverine's healing factor is shot. Jean Grey's trying to keep him together. The X-plane is like going down. It's like under attack. It's crazy. It's just really, really awesome comics, and fun to geek out about. I have them over there on my bookshelf. So Professor Xavier, Professor X, has this like exosuit on. I'm really giving all this away. I did say spoilers. Sorry about that. I'm about to wrap all this up, I promise, and end the episode. But anyway, so he wipes the mind of Magneto, and Magneto later on thinks he's this guy named Joseph or whatever. and eventually gets his memory back and all that stuff. But what happens is there's like a part of the anger and frustration or whatever that Xavier's feeling when he wipes the mind of Magneto. Part of that, I don't want to call it evil, but just the anger, frustration, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it is a little evil for what he was doing. It gets into Xavier's psyche or whatever, his brain or whatever. And then slowly, like, somebody keeps taking out the X-Men. Like, it starts with a Juggernaut, I think at one point, and somebody like knocks him clear across the country. It's like crazy. It's like so next level. And if you wanted to do an X-Men, I'm doing the pitch here apparently for it, but if you wanted to do an X-Men, somewhere where you'd have to bring the X-Men together and the Avengers, this does that in the Onslaught, if done right. I mean, your budget would be just ridiculous. I don't know how you would do it. Would it be more than one film? Would it be like Endgame? But he could be the next level. I mean, Onslaught. But basically, it takes all of the non-mutants to... Okay, what happens? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited about it. But it's still such a great story. That's why, maybe. Geeks understand. So this is the Geek Homeworld. This is where we geek out. So, basically, so Professor X becomes, eventually it manifests into this Onslaught creature. He takes over Professor X, and then there's X-Man from Age of Apocalypse, which was also a fantastic thing, and he incorporates him and Franklin Richards, who bends realities and stuff like that, who is the son of Reed Richards, and Invisible Woman there in the Fantastic Four, Sue Storm, and he creates this pocket universe. He puts all of the heroes in there, and that's how they got to reboot all of the comic books. It was so big in the 90s, and but the whole Onslaught's just one of my favorite villains, and that storyline just seemed to captivate me. I was really into comics then. Now Powers of X, Sword of X, the stuff they're doing now is pretty phenomenal, and that's probably the way they're gonna go, because that's what this generation knows. But we almost got Onslaught. We got Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse wasn't as good as I wanted. I wanted them to go a little bit more. I mean, it was okay, because I can still find, and this is probably bad to say, but I don't think Last Stand was terrible. Everybody says this is the worst X-Men film. No. New Mutants I was not terribly happy with, but that's, these are my opinions. But, for me, when we talk about, I just wanted to say this from earlier, and I promise I'll wrap up the episode. Sorry, just having too much fun here. But for me, Logan was the perfect send-off for, and I've got a wonderful framed poster of that from a friend of mine that got it for me. So it's here in the studio. One day I'll show it with my studio tour. But Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Logan was the perfect, swan song for him. Now, there is rumor maybe that, Ryan Reynolds always wanted the Wolverine Deadpool movie. That could be fun. I just don't know that he's going to come back for that. But for an Avengers film, even just a cameo, that would be great. Just like what DC's doing. I mean, the idea that maybe the Flashpoint movie that eventually will come out or whatever, having Michael Keaton as Batman, having Ben Affleck possibly, or whatever's going to happen with all that. That sounds so intriguing. Jared Leto, who was fantastic in Blade Runner 2049. I didn't like his Joker as much in Suicide Squad and all that. Was not as big of a fan of it. But there's some talkies in the Snyder Cut or Snyder's Justice League or whatever they're calling it now. So, I don't know. We'll see. So this is all speculation. But anyway, so I'm just going to wrap up this episode, and I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing with me. And if you're listening to this, know that you're going to make it. Know that everything's going to be good. And I just wish you all the best. And so with that, I'm going to sign off here. And thank you very much. I'm Ed Sisevich, host of Geek Homeworld. If you're interested in being a part of the Geek Homeworld, you can hit me up on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. You can direct message me there or just tweet at me. You can go to the Facebook page, Geek Homeworld. If you're, got an interesting enough angle, I can see how we can work you into the show. I can zoom you in, or something on a video or whatever, or just your comments. If you just have some comments on some things we've talked about, or if you have some topics of things you would like me to do videos on. I must admit I'm not great at the video portion. I'm better at the sound, and yeah, if my sound doesn't sound so good, sometimes it's because I'm trying to figure the video portion out. But sound comes more naturally for me than video does. That's why I didn't jump into video sooner. And but anyway, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channels for Savannah on Film and Geek Homeworld. I'm proud of everything and appreciative of every single thumbs up, every single subscribe, every enable of notifications, all that. I love those statistics to see that we're building a community, that I'm bringing you quality, not quantity of episodes. I can put out tons and tons of episodes, but I want to give you quality. So I'm going to try to get on a more regular schedule, but it depends. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for now, and thank you for listening, and bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.